Yeah, that's a bit too high. Okay. Can I shrink this a little bit? And pop out. Alien Destination. How are you doing? You are first today. My first victim. I hate that snap to grid thing Windows does. It's like, I don't want you to snap to anything. Gordy Hall. CR10S4 quit after 24 or so. Any ideas? 24 or so hours? You mean you were printing for 24 hours and it quit? Hours, yeah. Hey, 3D Medic. Okay. Any errors on the screen? Does the screen still indicate everything's fine, or did it reset, or did the power go out, or... There's two primary reasons for a machine to stop after, before finishing the print. And one is machine failure of some sort. So the machine glitched, power got reset, the power blinked, any number of possible reasons power could be interrupted. What do you mean it slowly loses power over time? Explain that. Like, what made you use those specific words? Like, what did the machine do to cause you to say slowly loses power over time? Keeping temperatures up. Okay. So that is usually an indication of... now, are we talking about the hot end or the heat bed? So, like, the bed is losing heat, or the hot end is losing heat, or both? Oh, that's interesting. Well, the first thing I would check is connections. Because those don't cost anything to check. My S4, the heat bed stopped working. And it was because the soldered connection to the bed flexed too much. So if this is the wires and this is the bed, the soldered connection flexed too much, and eventually it broke the solder joint. And that's what caused my heat bed to fail. But that wasn't a slow failure. That was a the heat bed turned off. You check for cold solder joints, like there's no crack in the solder. The next thing I would check is inside the brain box. So open up the brain box, and there's going to be a set of green junction ports where the wires go in, and then there's a screw top on top. Check there for signs of overheating. The four biggest wires are going to be your heat at hot end and your heat bed. So if those connections are coming loose, it could be burning up those connections there. So make sure those connections are solid. What else? What else is easy to check? Thermistors. Make sure the thermistor connections are good, and make sure the thermistors are seated properly. So on the heat bed, it should be taped up, and on the hot end, it should be inserted into that little hole. Be careful, very, very easy to break. But if your thermistor connections are bad, your printer could think your heat bed isn't working when it is. So check your thermistor connections on both ends at the junction box in the brain box. and at the hot end and on the underside of the bed. Also, check the wires along the length. If there's any kind of connections anywhere in that length, if it's not a one-piece wire, make sure those connections are good and solid. Sometimes it's as simple as unplug, replug to reseat those connections. So the fact that it's a heating problem, oh my god, almost certainly means it's not a G-code problem, so your G-code is probably fine. That would be the last thing I'd suspect. Yeah, check solder joints, check junction box joints in the brain box. Those are actually pretty easy to work on. You open up that brain box, it's pretty obvious what's in there. It's pretty easy to work on. Look for the green terminal junctions with the little screws on top. You stick a screwdriver in the hole. Those are going to be your terminal junctions. That's where your thermistors and your heater wires will connect. Why is it covering up part of the post? It's annoying. There's this stupid heart thing. Is there any way to make that go away? Like delete it? Because it's covering up the damn post. But check wire connections, solder joints, any kind of interconnects along the wires. Those will be your most likely issues. It could be, it's unlikely to be bad power supply, but it could be. If you have a spare, you could try swapping it in just to see what happens. It's a pretty easy swap. But that's a lower on my list of suspects. I would suspect the connection to the heat bed or the junction boxes, the terminal junctions inside the brain box. GG. What do you mean it stops from like at 60% or 80%? What does that mean? That's what's leading me to believe it's brainboard inside. I mean, it's possible just after so much usage they come loose. That's always a possibility. But check the terminal junctions inside. If those are starting to burn up, it's one block for both. So if that block is starting to get problematic, it'll affect everything. After you tighten them up, don't go crazy tightening them up, but after you tighten them up, make sure that whole box isn't loose. It stops printing and just freezes. Does it always, now, have you tried printing the same thing more than once, and does it freeze at the same point? Like at the exact same part of the model, it freezes again. Now, of course, Gordy, worst case scenario, it could be your brain board, the actual circuit board inside going bad. That's not likely. It's not a high probability item to fail, but it is possible. But my suspicion is the terminal junction inside. So you got wires coming loose, most likely. That would be my suspicion. Random models doesn't matter. Is it freezing at the same point in the model? So like you print something, it fails at 60%. You try it again, does it fail at the same point? If it fails at the same point, your most likely suspect is bad G-code or bad SD card. I have that happen quite a bit. I actually do. One of the reasons I got so many new SD cards for my printers is that all of my original SD cards were starting to fail. Now, if it's freezing at different points in the print, like you do the same print twice and it does not freeze at the same spot, that could still be bad SD card, but less likely. Usually when an SD card goes, it goes. It doesn't usually, sit there and gargle and suffer and growl for a while. It usually just done. Let's see. Of course, your best case at this point is to reformat the SD card on the computer, re-slice your files or recopy your G-code files to the SD card, remove the SD card, reinsert the SD card, try to load the G-code file off the SD card on the computer and see if it loads it completely. Usually if you have bad G-code, it'll actually be incomplete on your screen, but you have to remove the SD card and reinsert the SD card so that it treats it like a new file. Otherwise, it's loading a cached version of the file, which will seem to be complete. So pull the card, put the card back in, load up the G-code in your slicer, preview the G-code, and if it's bad G-code, you'll actually see it won't be complete. It'll actually stop at that point. No Alien, no new printers. Let's see, what else? My nose is driving me nuts again. Do I have a tissue? Yes, I do. Gooey, gooey, gooey. Nice. No problem. And let's see, what else could be it? Oddly enough, very similar to Gordy's issues. Check your connections, especially your ribbon cables. Make sure those ribbon cables are properly seated. Be gentle with them. If you have an intermittent ribbon cable problem, that could also cause it to do exactly that. Because remember, all your power runs through those ribbons. So, it might even be worth, popping the ribbon out, putting the ribbon back in, make sure it's all nice and clean and seated well. Just be gentle. Because if the ribbon cable is not seated correctly or not electrically connected properly, it could cause intermittent signal, and the printer might error out and crash. Basically, stop at a random point. So, check your ribbon cable seatings on both ends. Remember, you have a ribbon cable on the x-axis that goes across. You also have a vertical ribbon cable that goes from the base up to the x-axis. Check both. So that's 4 connections you got to check. No, I haven't. I got the Mingda, but that was like 4 months ago. That thing's a trooper. I've been beating the hell out of that thing. And not just printing PLA either. I've been doing almost exclusively PETG at 240 Celsius, and it just keeps going. Good machine. Let's see, what else? X1. Yeah. Make sure your connections are good, and make sure your ribbons are connected properly. Well, I flew some of the 3D printed rockets at Naram. How many people we got in here? There's 9. And we had some destruction. I mean, we're talking melty, melty, melty. That's a part of the rocket. It almost looks like glass. It's very cool. Here's the other half. This is really nice. And it's my purple one, my favorite one. I really like this purple one. But yeah, it looks like glass. It's actually quite amazing. So I had 3 failures. 2 of them were user error, meaning I screwed up, and one of them was a Kato. So this was a Kato. Basically, the motor blew up. If you want to print PET G on an Artillery G1, just print PET G. You set your fan speed for 30% and set your temperature at 240 Celsius, your bed at 75 Celsius. If you have problems with it sticking, I believe the X1 uses a glass bed. Flip it over so you're printing on the clean glass. Now, if you print parts like this that have a very small footprint, you're fine. However, if you print parts with a large footprint, like you print, seriously? You print something like this with a large footprint, you need to use a release agent when you print PETG on glass. So either glue stick or hairspray. You're actually trying to make it easier to remove the part because PETG sticks to glass so well, it'll actually tear chunks out of the glass. So be careful with that. Otherwise, make sure you have your wipe settings configured. Make sure your filament is dry. If you hear a snap, crackle, pop, you're going to have messy prints. PETG can absorb water. Otherwise, you print just like PLA. Your first layer is critical. If you have issues, it's most likely going to be on the first layer. If you get the first layer down okay, you'll print just fine. If you have a lot of stringing, you might want to increase your wipe distance, and also make sure the filament's dry, because wet PETG or insufficient wipe distance will cause a lot of stringing issues with PETG. Also, I believe in, I don't know what it's called. In Simplify 3D, it's stay within the confines of the model. Basically, if I'm printing this, I tell the print nozzle, don't do this. Don't cross open spaces if at all possible. That'll reduce your stringing. I believe it's called combing in Cura. Hey, Matt. So make sure you enable combing. Make sure you have sufficient wipe distance, not coast, wipe. And you want to print at 240 Celsius, 30% fad, 75 on the bed. Start off with 45 millimeters a second max. That's my comfortable temperature for PETG. But that's mostly because I'm printing structural parts and I need to make sure those interlayer bonds are good. If you're printing non-structural parts, you can go faster, no problem. That's basically it. PETG, as long as you get the first layer to stick, PETG is pretty easy to print. Now, the one thing that will affect a print with PETG big time is the quality of the plastic. For example, I prefer atomic filament for PETG. It's just incredible. Cool. Yeah, it was over 4 years ago. Glad to be out of there. PETG can go from being really high quality to the point where you cannot break it no matter how hard you squeeze it, to being so brittle that you can just go tap tap and crack it. So that's just the only way you're going to know is to buy a roll and try it. Once you find a good roll, write down the name, save it in your Amazon list or whatever, so you know to buy that brand again. Sometimes even within the same brand is variable, depending on the color. I have this gorgeous transparent orange and transparent like neon yellow PETG. I love it. It's gorgeous, but the structural integrity is just not there. The parts don't self-adhere and they crack very easily. So I can't use that for rockets. I like Edgewood. It's a little cold in the winter. Eryone is in the middle. Eryone is nowhere near as strong as Atomic PETG, but it's a lot better than a lot of the cheaper PETGs. It's still a little bit brittle, but nowhere near as bad as some of the bad stuff. I like the Eryone. I especially like their transparent blue. Yeah, I still got that bus in the backyard. Actually, I got to change the battery in it. The battery went bad. So this happened. This is the Kato. So basically, this motor blew up. So this is a rocket motor, and there's a propellant, delay, and ejection charge grain inside the rocket motor. And with this one here, you can see it even melted the motor itself. Even the motor itself got melted. And that's because of what I suspect is a forward closure failure. There's a forward closure on the front that makes sure that the exhaust comes out the back and doesn't go out the front until it's ready to. So the forward closure failed, so it thrusted for about a second, and then it began thrusting out the top end. And, well, I don't care what you make your rocket out of, it's hosed if that happens. That's 2,000 degree fire coming out the front. Yeah, it just melted it. It burned up the paper tube inside. I mean, even the cardboard tube is carbonized. It's just destroyed. Nothing survives that. I mean, no matter whether you're phenolic, fiberglass, carbon fiber, plastic, paper, no matter what you make your rocket out of. Yeah, Groot's still on the hood. He's holding up good, too. Most of the color's gone. I'd have to stain him if I wanted to add some more color because the sun bleached most of that wood color out. but the part itself is holding up great. So this was not a model failure. No matter how I constructed this model, this type of a Kato would have destroyed it. The other two failures were user error. I flew the SDI, and it flew great. I mean, amazingly well. But I screwed up, and this was too tight. This was entirely too tight inside the tube here. So when the ejection charge fired, this couldn't get out of the way because this is way too tight. It takes way. Look at this. I have to bend the part to get it to come out. I tried shaving it down, and I got desperate, and I was like, screw it, just fly the damn thing. And that was a mistake. Of course, this did not eject, so all the hot gases stayed right here inside the model and cooked it. And it actually held together, came down, of course, and crashed at full speed. You know, that's not going to be good for it. But that was user error. I should have made this looser. And again, had I done this with a regular paper construction model, it would have equally destroyed it. You know, that paper can only handle that heat for a fraction of a second. If you trap all that heat in there, it's just going to cook off the model. So the same destruction would have happened if this was made of a cardboard tube. But it flew fantastic, and I didn't have to add any nose weight. Absolutely gorgeous. I got pictures I'll show you guys. It was awesome. I also flew the Citadel. That actually worked perfectly. It actually even had a spin, which was pretty cool. I put a bevel in the fins to see if that would induce a spin, you know, just a little bit of a bevel on one side, and it did. It induced a nice roll on the way up. That's where you see the interesting difference in the plastics. I found out, sadly, especially because I have 100 of them, these parachutes that I've been getting from AliExpress are not ideal for rocketry. There are two problems. The first problem is they're made of very thin polyester. It's so thin you can actually see through it. You can actually see through that. It's too thin. And that means it takes very little heat to melt it. So they need extra protection from the heat, which is annoying. And also this, one of the ways they made it easy to make, because shroud lines are actually difficult to manufacture. It's one of the reasons why parachutes cost a lot. But because this one uses basically two parachutes. This parachute is made of two parachutes. You have the parachute up here and you have the parachute down here. Except this one is netting, so it has holes in it. And that allows them to do one single sew and just, you know, sew the two halves together, and there you go. You have a parachute. The problem is, not only did the parachute get a little singed from the heat, even though I had a Nomex shoe protector inside, but the netting acts as reefing. So a parachute has to open up like this to get you your lower descent rate. And this is actually a pretty big parachute. And reefing is when you take the shroud lines for a parachute and you choke it. So if I choke the parachute like this, it won't open as much and it'll come down faster. Well, the problem is these can't handle the higher mass of a model rocket. What happens is this netting produces enough drag that it acts as a reefing and prevents the parachute from all the way opening. That sucks because I got a whole lot of these parachutes and they're cheap, 50 cents a piece. I might still experiment. I don't know how ripstop this material is. Like, if I put slits in this material, will it still work or will it just start tearing? If I could put slits in this to open it up to allow more air to get inside the parachute, I might be able to use these still. But what happened is the Citadel flew fine. It ejected. No damage whatsoever. It flew perfectly. And then the parachute did not fully deploy because it couldn't get enough air inside. This was acting as a reefing and keeping the parachute from opening. So it hit the ground a little harder than I would like. What's interesting is that the Citadel is a ring fin rocket. So it's the rocket. I don't have one. It's like this here. So it's like it has three fins and it has a ring on the outside. The fins and body were made of Eryone PETG, and The ring was made of atomic filament blood diamond red. And what's interesting is that it hit the ground hard enough that it hit the ring, it hit sideways like this. It hit the ring, broke the fin through the ring, but didn't break the ring. That's the difference between those two types of plastics. So the atomic filament plastic was so much stronger that it actually broke the fin through the ring without breaking the ring, which is pretty impressive. Now, I might be able to boost the strength of the Eryone by simply like doing what I did here. Add more ribs. So if I add more ribs, I'll increase the strength. So I'm probably going to do that because I really like the Eryone plastic. It's not as strong as the atomic, but it's beautiful color. And so I want to try to use it. The SDI flew perfectly. It crashed because the nose cone was too tight. That's my fault. That's user error. The Lodestar melted because the engine KO'd. And the Citadel flew great, although it cracked one fin on landing because the parachute didn't fully open up, so it didn't slow down enough. And I didn't fly any more of the plastic rockets at that point because, number one, I was absolutely exhausted and beat from the heat. It was 105 degrees down there with dust everywhere. I have so much dust in my car, it's ridiculous. But also, I didn't have any parachutes. I realized that these parachutes weren't going to work, and the few parachutes that I had were too small. They were little 9-inch parachutes, which is probably good for something this size. Yeah, see, that'd be perfect for something this size, but not usable for something this big. Too heavy. 300-400 grams is what I was flying, and a little 9-inch chute isn't quite enough for a rocket that size. I would just break them on landing. These are 18-inch parachutes, so they're 3 times larger by area, I believe. But that's too bad. I couldn't just gang up with more of these because it wouldn't fit, because they are pretty beefy. So I got to get myself some 24-inch chutes, some 18-inch, 24, and 30-inch chutes, and do some experiments to see if I can make these work better. She did good. I was surprised. She made both of her appointments, so she was up and out on time to get her ride to her appointments. I'm glad I did the frozen dinners because, she would have eaten just, hot dogs and Chef Boyardee all week if I didn't. She's too lazy to cook. We might have a solution for her sleeping problem. Hey, DeWitt. She apparently has sleep apnea, and they're putting her on a BiPAP machine, which she seems to be compatible with. So her propensity to sleep a lot might be because of sleep apnea. Thankfully she didn't have any issues. She didn't fall. She didn't have any, issues. My biggest issue was yelling at her when she didn't have her phone on her. It's like, Yishao, if you fall and you can't get up and you don't have your phone on you, you can't call for help. I was like, do I have to put an old person leash on you? I've fallen and I can't get up. I was like, so keep your phone on you. But otherwise, she did great. No problems. She kept the cats fed. She kept the watering fountain full. So she did what she had to do, so that's good. And so far, with the exception of the Kato and the failure to deploy, all the plastic tubes held up fine, no issues. I do have a couple of issues that I want to address. Where is that part? Seriously? I don't know what I did with the part. I don't see. I must have tossed it somewhere. But anyway, I can show you on another model. So, one thing I discovered I don't like. No, it's a fan issue. I gotta figure out what fan it needs and order it, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I've been preparing for Naram and all that crap. So this is the motor mount for the rockets. It's all the same. except, size difference. And I don't like this. This is proving to be an issue. I see deformation in the flights that I made. None of them failed, but I can see it failing after maybe, 8, 10, 12 flights. I can see this becoming compromised. So I'm going to change the way I'm doing this. I'm going to have this transition to a cylinder so it has a flat top, so that when the ejection charge fires, the ejection charge hits that flat top and not this angled surface. The angled surface is weaker than a straight surface because, as you realize, when you 3D print layer on top of layer, you get very good solid bonding between the two layers. But when you print an angled surface like this, what you're doing is this. So now you only have half the layer, and these two float in air. So the more you angle, the more overlap you have per step. I could lower the layer height, but I would rather just fix the problem permanently. So this is going to have a very small shoulder and then go to a vertical cylinder, just 20 millimeters tall, 10 millimeters tall, so that the top of the motor mount will interface with the model, similar to how this does. So to be more like this. This is exactly. So the top of the motor mount is going to be changed to be more like this. So you have a very small little shoulder for the interface, and then you'll have a cylinder, and then the top will be flat. Hey Joe. That will eliminate that problem because now a non-structural portion of the model will be taking the heat, and it won't matter. It won't hurt it. How did I get this off? There it goes. So that will fix that problem. I'm going to make the SDI a little bit longer so there's a little bit more volume in there. I think I'm also going to experiment with disposable baffles. So a baffle is a way of basically the motor will go into a cylinder, and the cylinder will actually be closed off, but only half of it will be closed off like that. And then a little further up, the other half will be closed off like that. And then a little further up, the other half will be closed off again. What that does is that forces the exhaust gases to do this, to get into the main body. And each time you have a direction change, you have particles inside the ejection charge. There's black powder, there's carbon, there's paper, there's plastic, there's ash, there's stuff, there's physical stuff. You can see it in here. All this black stuff is stuff that comes out when you fire the ejection charge. I need to capture that stuff because the gases themselves aren't really what's going to heat up and melt something. It's the particulate matter, the mass, the actual matter coming out of the top of the engine, and that matter is what's going to carry heat and hold heat for more than a few milliseconds. So a baffle takes care of that. It's actually a pretty common thing in rocketry because it eliminates the need for ejection wadding and stuff like that, since you're taking care of most of the heated matter in the baffle. Now I want to print the baffle, not build it, so I want to print it. And I imagine the baffle will have a limited number of uses. Hey Mike. Although, as carbon builds up, it'll self-insulate. So they might last longer than I think. So my idea is to, the piece of the paper tube that sticks out of this end, this one's all burnt because of the Kato when the motor blew up. I have pictures of that, by the way. It's pretty cool. So have threading on top of here, and then you can screw the baffle in. And this way, if your baffle does, deteriorate, you can just unscrew it and screw in a new one. So that would solve that problem quite nicely. The D-rings held up fantastically. Zero problems with the D-rings. Nose cones held up fine. Tubes held up fine. I did melt a couple of the PLA rockets one time. One single time the whole trip, I forgot to leave the windows open. and melted the PLA rockets. One time. All the PETG rockets held up fine, no issues. Anything else? Otherwise, the rockets seem to hold up okay. I got a whole bunch of these motors now. I have 98 more of them. So I will be able to... Oh my god. Can't stop yawning. So I will be able to do more flight testing. I did find out the ARS, Albuquerque Rocket Society, is still active. They are flying. So I'm going to probably join that club. The only bad part is it's 100 miles. It's going to cost so much in gas. Because I can't take the electric car there, and there's nowhere to charge it. So I'm going to have to use the gas car, and it's 52 miles each way. That's annoying, but what can you do? But they have a flight site outside of... just outside of Rio Rancho. And I think they have a launch this Saturday, so I'm probably going to go this Saturday and try to get a couple more rockets up in the air. The Naram launch days were pretty nasty. I didn't fly anything the first 2 days. The winds were so bad. And I only flew 3 flights on the 3rd day, and the 4th day was classic model, which I didn't want to miss, so I didn't fly anything of my own on Friday. Or not Friday, Tuesday. What else? That's it. The parts otherwise held up good. I mean, I have no complaints. No burst tubes. No compromised pressure vessels. So except for when motors blew up, of course, that's gonna compromise any airframe. The payload section, of course, broke when it landed, but it landed without a parachute, obviously, because the motor katoed. So that's to be expected. But the cool thing is, unlike a regular rocket, with this one, I can simply replace this clear section and fly it again. Actually, this rocket is almost salvageable. I have to replace the payload section, the fin can, and this tube here has to be replaced. But the coupler, the 2 couplers, the nose cone, the transition, all savable. ASA rocket? No, I haven't printed any rockets with ASA. PETG works more than good enough, so I don't go through the hassle of using ASA. They thought they were pretty cool. A lot of people were very interested in them. So the models that are based on the airframes that I flew, so the 80mm and 60mm airframe models, I'm going to start releasing them for sale, since now that I know the airframes hold up to the ejection charge. I am going to wait until I correct the motor mounts, though. I want to make that correction first. No, not so much a correction, but an upgrade. I just want to make sure that, because this is the one part that you don't want to have to replace, because it's the one part that requires glue. You got a glue tube in, so it's the one part that you want to be able to move from model to model. So I want to make sure that part's resilient. But otherwise, I'm very pleased. The models held up well, and they held up well to travel too. Although Andromeda got wrecked. Of course, the most delicate model I put in the car first. And that was the dumbest thing to do, because that meant everything else was on top of it. That was dumb. That was user error again. I'm impressed with the D20s, the 18mm D20s. Very impressive little motors. I like that a lot. I also got a couple of F44s and E26s. I'm going to try some experimenting with these parachutes to see if I can make them work, because I would like to be able to use these parachutes if I can. For the bigger rockets, it should be okay, because I can just wrap the entire parachute in Nomex. What I gotta find out is, can I use fiberglass cloth as a chute protector? Like, is that safe to use? Because buying Nomex is expensive. But fiberglass cloth is cheap. You just buy fire blankets. The fire blankets you pull out of the pouch just to smother a fire. Those are dirt cheap. I can just cut them up into whatever size I need. So I got to find out if that's something that's safe to use. So hopefully that'll work out well. The solar panel worked well, kept the fridge battery charged up during the day. So I had refrigeration in the car all week. keep all of our drinks and food cold. And what was that? The one I had was the 200 watt Blue Eddy panel. Very expensive panel. I got it for free. That's the only reason I have it. But the only problem I had is one time only I got an error, and I think it's because the wattage was too high. But what I gotta get is I gotta get a splitter. Now this is a battery problem, not a solar problem. But I got that 1200 watt hour battery I posted for $330. It works quite well. But the problem is, one of the things you lose when you buy a battery that cheap is you lose functionality elsewhere. So for example, the input can only handle 120 watts. But it does have multiple inputs. So I have the XT60 connector on the back, which can handle 120 watts. And then I also have the barrel jack on the front for the normal 12-volt charger goes in. I actually had that plugged in permanently to the car so that anytime I started the engine, it was charging the battery. Although that appeared to be limited to 60 watts. I don't know if the 60 watts is a hard limit in the battery, or if it was the connection to the car limiting it to 60 watts. I'm not sure. I'll have to test that. See, can I put 100 watts into that front port? But either which way, I want to hook a splitter up to the output wires, the MC4 connectors from the solar panel, so that I can plug it into both the XT60 connector and the barrel jack on the front. That should allow me to charge at 200 watts, which would be nice. Car held up fine, no issues, average 33 miles per gallon. I should be able to attend Naram next year. It's going to be in Pueblo, Colorado, so another local one. Vern Estes, the person who started Estes Rocket Company, he wants to attend 60 Narams. And so if he can attend one more Naram, that'll be 60. So they are intentionally holding another one here so that he has a chance to go to it. There's not even a guarantee he'll make it. I mean, he's over 90. Glida, his wife, is in pretty bad shape. And if she goes, he'll probably go soon after. When you have a couple that have been married that long, they tend to not be able to live without each other, so to speak. You know, the will to live dwindles when your partner dies. I think that's partially what happened to my dad when Jerry died. I think he just gave up. His will to live just dwindled. And so if she dies, he probably won't last much longer after that. Which is going to suck, because, you know, he's a big part of the rocket history. But and a cool guy. But we're going to try to hold one more Naram where he can reach it, a local one. He lives in Pueblo, so it's close to him. And if he holds out, he'll be 60 Narams. So I should be able to attend that one since it'll be local. Thomas has already said, you know, I can stay with him, assuming, you know, he's 82 years old, so assuming he's still around, I'll be able to stay with him. And I got to get in better shape by then. The heat and the heat temperature and conditions just absolutely wrecked me. I spent 3 days after I got home from there, just recovering. I was so, every bone and muscle in my body ached, every single one. I've got to get rid of some weight. Hey, Colin. I found a stopgap solution for my eyes. I can't use the only medicine that actually works I can't use because it'll make me blind. Great, here's some medicine that'll help. But by the way, you can't use it long term or you'll go blind. But I found out, I realized that when the doctor said that I kind of noticed it worked before and I didn't really think about it much. But then the doctor said it's inflammation. And the inflammation irritates the eyeball. And the irritation in the eyeball causes the mucus response in your eye to get overactive. So I thought, what if I take an anti-inflammatory? And yes, it works. I took Advil, and it's significantly better. It doesn't go away, it doesn't fix it, but it stops the painful outward symptoms that cause me problems because it reduces the inflammation. Now, Advil also has a problem where you can't take Advil long term or it causes problems. However, low dose aspirin is safe and is also an anti inflammatory. So I ordered a bottle of 1,000 chewable aspirins, the low dose 81 milligram aspirins, and I'm going to try those and see if those control the inflammation in my eyes. Make it bearable at least. And go from there. So, see what happens. I gotta start preparing for winter. Don't know what I can do. I mean, I got my backup heat pump working, so I have some affordable heat with that. But as soon as the temperature drops below 30 degrees, that's not going to work anymore. I mean, it'll still make heat, but it's not going to make enough of a difference. I need some more supplemental heat beyond just that. I still haven't been able to get a hold of the guy who installed this. And I can't afford to pay another technician to come out, that's for sure. I have this beautiful 22 SEER, 27,000 BTU mini, heat pump, and I can't use it. Yay! What can you do? Basically it. That's all up to date. So I'm gonna try to hold back on designing new rockets for now and work on refining. Now that I'm getting ready for release, I want to start refining the models I do have. Get all my templates in line, get all my base components set up so that make it easier going forward. And I gotta put up an ad on Marketplace. See if I can get some people to trade, like I don't know, 3 rolls of PLA for 1 roll of atomic, or 2 rolls of PLA for 1 roll of atomic. You buy me a roll of atomic filament, and I'll give you 2 rolls of PLA type of thing. It has to be local because shipping would just ruin that whole entire process. But I gotta try to see if I could barter some of my huge, massive stock of PLA for PETG that I need for these models. And because PLA is just a pain in the ass unless you use white. Anything other than white's a pain in the ass, just because of the temperature issues. Although with winter coming, I can fly PLA rockets, so I can make my test birds out of PLA. I don't think they're available on Amazon. Let me check. I don't think atomic filament is available on Amazon. Or if they are, it's going to be a higher price. Oh, that's actually not bad. It's the same prices on their website. Oh, you have $4.49 delivery, so it's not free delivery on Amazon. You gotta pay $4.50 for delivery. I'll add it, but it's basically $5 more expensive on Amazon. That is not what I wanted. Yes, it is. Okay. Eventually, I want to try some of this Cookie CAD PETG. They have some beautiful colors. Why are you giving me a problem? Lower than the recommended? I guess we can try bumping it up a little bit. Looks like it doesn't like 2500. Let's try 3000. Stream output. Looks like YouTube is a little bitchy about the bit rate. If you click on my Amazon wish list in the description of the video, I have a link to my Amazon wish list. I'll show you guys some of the pictures from there. Let's see, let's go to my models first. Here we go. Let's switch to this view. It's going a little sideways. This is at the contest range. And here's the sport range. First we're going to see that little cam rock right there, that Astrocam go up. Then here's my SDI satellite killer. What did he call this? He called it a SPEV. Spare parts elimination vehicle. So basically it's when a company has a whole bunch of parts for other models and they cobble it together into a different model just to get rid of those parts. Apparently that's what the SDI satellite killer is. It's a SPEV, a spare parts elimination vehicle, which I'm happy about because it's an awesome vehicle. But there it is taking off. Absolutely straight. Did not require any nose weight. I was very, very pleased by that. Gets a little blurry as it gets to the top, of course, because it's moving away from me. But yeah, it flew absolutely perfectly. You couldn't ask for a better flight. Someone else's, I don't know what that is. It's just a random model. Arcturus. It's an Arcturus. And then here you can already see I have problems. So here's the Lodestar taking off. And can actually, these are vertical, so I can do this a little differently. I need to be able to see what you guys are saying. No video. Very, very little video. You can already see I'm running into problems. You see this black smoke that's not coming from the tail end of the rocket. It's coming from up here. Yeah, that's the forward closure of the motor failing. So here the motor is sputtering out. It's trying to decide whether it wants to blow this end off or blow this end off. You can see the little paratrooper guy in the payload bay. Well, this crashed because the motor blew up. It melted the rocket. It turned it into a liquid plastic rocket. So here you can see, again, we have gas coming out of holes it should not be coming out of. There's the ejection charge firing. So this would be, most likely would be the ejection charge. way early, and you see we still have fire. So right now, it's getting to about 1800 degrees Fahrenheit inside this section right here, as the motor turns into a Roman candle and just burn. You can see it's flame coming out of the side of the model. There's nothing you can do about this. I mean, no matter what you make unless you make your model out of stainless steel or something like that, or aluminum, which you're not allowed to do, unless you make it out of metal or brick. It's no model is going to survive this. If a motor KOs, that's it. The model's done. It's gonna fry that model through and through. So now we have flame coming out the back and flame coming out the top. It's finally burned through the side of the model. So now the flame is coming out the side of the model, and that's the smoke you see there. And there's another puff as it's exploding. Here's pieces of the model and pieces of the motor being ejected out the top. I got a pretty good sequence of that. Yeah, when this happens, your model's done. There is no construction technique. There is no material selection you can make. When this happens, your model's being burned up. If you go to my site, Nerys.com, I have a Digistore, an e-store there. I'm going to start putting these models up on that store for sale. Now, the Citadel worked a whole lot better. No problem. I appreciate it. I'll also have a Thangs membership soon as well. The Citadel flew great. So this blue part is the Eryone Pet G, and this red part is the Atomic Filament Blood Diamond Red. So it actually cracked this fin on landing because the parachute didn't deploy all the way. But it flew great. I had zero issues with that. Nice roll. It actually glistened as it rolled. It was a beautiful flight. I was very, very happy with that. Oop, that's not what I want you to do. Let me give you guys a better shot. There we go. But that was beautiful. I'm very, very pleased with that. Let me give you a zoom in of this. So you can see the gas is starting to come out this joint here. And that's this excess gas. It's on the other side of the model where you can't see it. But yeah, it melted that down pretty good. And the STI flew fantastically. Oop, too much. There we go. Yeah, that flew fantastically. This one tube had a crimp in it because I crushed it in the car. But otherwise, absolutely beautiful flight. Straight up, totally perfectly stable. That kit's ready to go. That's awesome. Come on. I can show you guys some of the other pictures. These are not 3D printed, but these are other people's models. There's a boost glider going off. Let me crop. So there's a boost glider. There's another boost glider. That was pretty nice looking. Oh, very nice. I like it when I can catch the modeler in the frame. Oh, I got one video of a parachute.
Jellyfish! Jellyfish!
So that's a parachute race model.
2. Timer for 2.
Glider on 2, Flanagan.
I wasn't even sure if I caught that because I couldn't see it in the viewfinder of the camera. I was not prepared for video capture. Is that, what's that? Oh, that's cool. That's a cluster. Staging models are cool. They're hard to capture. So this is, oh, stop doing that. I don't know why it does that. It's so annoying. So this event was called Classic Model. That's where you had to build a discontinued older model, and it's a craftsmanship event. Make it as nice as you can. This is 3 stages, which is really cool because sometimes you can catch the staging. So here it comes. Next shot will be the stage. Nope, next shot. Boom, there you go. So that is not what I wanted to do. It's being an asshole again. For some reason, using this touchpad causes it to want to move, and I hate that. So there you can see when this motor fires its ejection charge, which is no ejection charge because it's a 0-second motor, it lights the next motor in line, and that shoves off the first stage, the booster, and then it continues flying, and then it does it again for the 3rd stage. I caught the 3rd stage, but it's blurry by then. Yeah, now we're blurry. There it goes. And gotta piss me off, don't you? Stop it, you no good skank. So there is 3rd stage lighting off, and here's the booster for the 2nd stage. Let's see what else we got in here. Let's see if you guys are saying anything. No, actually the one I linked was orange. They only have a couple of varieties on Amazon. They have their carbon fiber black, and then they have the UV reactive orange. But only one of theirs is black. Yeah, I don't like black. Black sucks. Let's see. Oh, this is a great one. You're gonna like this. This is a really cool model. So let me crop this. Might as well do some editing while I'm here. So that's a really slick model. I can crop this one a little bit too. And then I can crop that one as well. And then there it is, staging. That is one of the best staging shots I've gotten in a long time. It's crisp, it's in focus, it's clean. You've got the beauty shot. You can see the decals, and you can see the flame. This flame is actually not from this motor. This flame is from this bottom motor. That's the flame that shoots up, and that is what is now igniting the next motor in line. But that's a great shot. I mean, that's a nice shot. And there's the booster, and just before the rocket went out of focus, it was right on the edge of my vocal plane. But there's the booster coming down, and now the second motor is ignited and burning. That came out really cool. That was a nice model. I think he got 3rd place. This is an MPC Microsonde, which is another really cool rocket that I liked. I want to do a wide shot of this because the clouds look nice in the background. But that's a beautifully, beautifully finished model. He did a great job on this model. Why do you do this to me? It keeps changing to the next picture when I don't ask it to. Those long, skinny, pointed fins, and he actually managed to recover it without breaking any of them, which is amazing. So going up, and then there you go. There's the staging. That's the booster coming off, and then there's the motor continuing to burn. And there it is, full ignition. There's the 3rd stage, second stage dropping off and third stage igniting, and there goes third stage full power, and it shoots up. I actually managed to capture some of the parts coming down. There is, I believe, stage 1 coming down, and there's stage 2 coming down. And all without damage, which is amazing. That's just a nice group shot, and of course it does that again. I did not ask it to do that. It's something to do with this keyboard. Control Y. Missed it. Missed it. Yeah, you miss a lot of them too, because these buggers move. That's another nice group shot, which of course is going to jump again. Why does it do that? That's a flexi launch. So it's got this little tiny flexible Regalo wing glider inside. This one did not glide. It death spiraled in. See any other good ones? This one's a pretty nice one. Like, why would you do that? There it goes. Ignition. The nice thing about 50 megapixels is I can, as long as the focus is good, I could really crop in and get a nice shot even from a wide angle shot. And this next one I think is the good one. That's a pretty clean shot. A little further out, but clean. You see the decals. But it was fun. Not as many people showed up. Not as much flying. Mostly because the location, the weather was horrible for half the event, and of course, 3 weeks earlier was the World Space Modeling Championships, so a lot of people did that. Couldn't afford to do both events, so it was a very short Naram. There wasn't that much sport flying. Again, people didn't want to chase their model across to Arizona. This is a Far Side, another really nice model. 3 stages, transitions, all kinds of nice stuff. That's a good shot right there. The sun really hit the model nicely. I could probably crop that a little more. Control Y. Oh yeah, definitely. That's only 22% scale. There's a that's a nice staging shot. Come on. Stop being a dick. That's a nice staging shot right there. That one broke a fin on landing. Next year is going to be a lot more active. These models are very high. These particular models you're seeing are extraordinarily high altitude models for their class, which is why most of these were flying on half A's and A's. Because a model like this could easily hit 2,500 feet, and when the model's that small, when the model's that small, hitting 2,500 feet is not exactly a great idea if you want to get it back. But the winds were almost nil. But a lot of them were flying on A80s to A80s or B60s, or they were keeping the motors really small in order to keep the models from, going to Arizona or Mexico. Yes, most of them land with a parachute. Some of them are gliders. Some of them use helicopter recovery. Some of them use just streamers. A lot of those multi-stage rockets, the boosters just tumble. They're light enough that they can just fall. No, well, two things. First of all, altitude is not what determines FA interference. Mass and propellant are what determine that. So as long as you are less than 3.3 pounds on the pad, and as long as you have less than 125 grams of propellant, you require no FAA interaction whatsoever. Unless you're within 5 miles of an airport, then you have to provide notification. You just have to let them know, hey, we're launching here, and here's where we're launching from. Otherwise, no FAA interactions required at all. Anything larger than 3.3 pounds or 125 grams of propellant is effectively illegal, and you have to get a waiver. That's also a very simple process. You know, as long as you're in an area where a waiver is permissible. So if you try to fly into Class B airspace, you're going to have a hard time getting a waiver. But in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, it's pretty easy. We had a waiver for 12,000 feet. So people could fly up to M motors and up to 12,000 feet if they wished. Nobody flew that high because the winds were too high. But these models here at the model scale, you can go 4, 5, 6, 7,000 feet without a waiver. Oh yeah, let's do that now. I was spending so much time preparing for Naram that I haven't touched it, but it's sitting right here. And I just knocked over like 12 spools of filament. I'm glad you showed up because I didn't want to open it unless you were on. So DeWitt here sent me a goodie box. And we are going to see what's inside this goodie box. But I need a tool. This will probably work. Spudger. Get rid of that so nobody sees my address, although everybody knows my address now. Looks like we open from here. Well, there's actually some fiberglass in this, so we need something a little sharper. This will probably work. Yep, that worked. There we go. Seriously? Wait a minute, dude. This is what's actually in this box? Holy shit, dude. He sent me a freaking pallet too. Hell yeah, I always wanted one. My God, this is like $700. Holy shit. I just assumed it was goodies inside of a Pallet 2 box. Wow. Dude, that's insane. Holy crap, thank you so much. I mean, that's extraordinarily generous. I mean, that's like incredible. Wow. Yeah, that's beyond nice. That's epic. That's just holy crap epic. Dude, that is so incredibly generous. That's just out of this world. Wow, that sucker's heavy. Oh my, this is going to be amazing. Probably couldn't do a multicolor rocket. That'd be a little hard because you'd have to break vase mode. But there's definitely some rocket related stuff I can print in multicolor, that's for sure. Oh my god. Dude, this is incredibly, incredibly generous. Wow. I didn't think for a second there was actually a pallet in there. I just assumed that was a random box you grabbed and put some goodies in. DeWitt from Canada sent me a Pallet 2 Pro. So you can bet your piney that we're going to do some playing around with multicolor. Oh, man. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, wow, it's right. Yeah, it's that it's the one that splices the filament together. It calculates how much filament you're going to need and pre-splices the pieces together, and then that gets fed into a regular printer. Wow. Absolutely mind-blowing. That's incredible, dude. That is so incredible. There we go. So I saw the two tabs on the side. Oh, look at the inside of this. It's like it's electronic printer porn. Absolutely incredible. So this takes 4 colors in, and then this little unit here handles the splicing of the filament. This is your excess space, so that where it can put a little bit of the excess filament, because the printer's drawing from it as it's making the filament. So as your printer is pulling filament out, it's drawing, what do you call it? There's a name for that in industry, where you have a cached loop of material. The film industry does it a lot. Wire industry does it a lot. I forgot the name of it. There's a name for this function that it does there with so that the machine can stop the filament from coming in while it does its splice thing, but obviously your printer doesn't stop, so it's drawing from the spool, the loop in here that it creates. So it comes out of here, creates the loop in here, so that it can draw from this while it's conducting the next splice. Absolutely incredible. This is mind-blowing. Wow. Well, I guess buffer. Yeah, that's the right word for it. Absolutely, DeWitt. Thank you so much for this. That's that's incredibly generous. I mean, it's not even an old model; it's the latest. I mean, that's the. I'd have been happy with anything. Holy crap! Wow, this is going to be so much fun to play with. Ah, it's magnets. Okay, that's why it just popped off. Incredible. I am so looking forward to playing with this. This is going to be fun. This is incredible. I fixed my phone, by the way. I had to replace the screen because I cracked the screen when I removed it to replace the battery. I got all 3 sides of the screen removed, no problems. The moment I tried to go around the 4th corner, cracked it. Screen still works, actually. It's just the glass on top broke. So I got a replacement screen, and I got that phone fixed, and now it doesn't have a big bulge coming out of the back anymore. Actually, do I still have that here? Yeah. That battery puffed up real nice. That battery, I'm going to put a nail through it and see if it starts on fire. It was actually, this has a reinforced structural frame, and it was actually bending the entire frame of the phone, and it was actually starting to push so hard on the back of the screen that you can start seeing lines appear on the screen where circuitry in the back was pushing against the back of the screen of the phone. And of course, the only way to replace the screen, or to replace the battery, is to remove the screen. You have to force the screen off. And when you take the screen off of a phone like this, 50-50 shot, you break the screen. And I made it 3/4 of the way around the screen. I started here. I got it here, no problem. Here, no problem. Here, no problem. As soon as I tried to go around this corner here, shattered. I got complacent, and I was like, hey, this is working pretty good. Smash! I had to wait 3 weeks to get a new screen. But now I got it working again. I don't even use this as my primary phone anymore. If you guys want a shockingly good phone, if you want a slim, high-performance flagship phone, forget it. But if you want a big, bulky phone with a gigantic battery that'll just run forever, look at the Ulefone 21. I think it's the Ulefone Armor 21. You can get it on AliExpress for $199. $200. No, this is a ruggedized phone, so this has a 7,000 milliamp battery. It's got a 48 megapixel camera, a night vision camera, a thermal imaging camera, and a macro camera. And it's also got a built-in flashlight. And it's also one of the few phones that has few Chinese phones that has a Snapdragon processor. Thank you so much, DeWitt. That is so incredibly generous. That's incredible. If I took 100% of my income for 2 months, I couldn't buy that. That's incredibly generous. I just assumed it was goodies, the RAM, which I would have been thrilled with. I didn't think for a second that that's what was actually in that box. Incredibly generous. Thank you. But the big thing that I like about this is Snapdragon processor, thermal imaging camera, so an actual thermal imager, and 3.5 watt speaker. So you can I could turn on an audiobook and sit this on the table and fill an entire room. It's incredibly loud and clear. The Ulefone 21, it doesn't have the flashlight, which is annoying because I really use that flashlight quite a lot. But it has the 3.5 watt speaker. It has a 64 megapixel camera as well as a 64 megapixel night vision camera. Does not have the thermal camera. That's a much more expensive option. But it uses a a MediaTek G99 processor, and that was the only thing that concerned me. Is that one of the things with a lot of these Chinese phones is that they're slow, they lag. This doesn't. The G99 feels like a flagship processor. I was very, very impressed with it. I'm probably going to stick with it because it's got a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. The earpiece actually works. This one here, the earpiece doesn't work well. It's very hard to hear. So I tend to use the speakerphone and just hold the phone that way. The only saving grace for this is the thermal imaging camera. Otherwise, everything on the Armor 21 is better. It's got a higher resolution camera that's actually decent. It's got a higher resolution night vision camera. And it's got the 3.5 watt speaker. It's got 256 gigs of internal memory. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's actually 8 gigabytes, but then you can use 8 gigabytes of your storage memory as RAM, which actually works really well. But yeah, very impressed. For a low cost phone, it's extremely impressive. I'll be posting a review video of that soon. I've been very, very pleased with it. I got the Armor 16, which is the cheaper version of that. It was like $100 used on Amazon, and it's fine. It actually works really well, except that it's slow. You swipe and it takes a half a second for it to do something. That little tiny bit of lag that just grates on your nerves. But the G99, the Helio G99, does not have that lag. It's impressively smooth. And a nice big high-res screen, just enough, it's an HD screen. I'm impressed. For $200, I'm impressed. It's very, very impressive for $200. This, on the other hand, was $850. Not that impressed. I love the thermal imaging. Not that impressed by the fact that the goddamn battery puffed up in fucking 18 months, and of course it's out of warranty. Not impressed by that. That's why I'm kind of glad the EU is pushing to make it illegal for these manufacturers to make phones that aren't serviceable. I think requiring them to either include a replaceable battery or a minimum number of years to provide a reasonably priced service to have the battery replaced. Because ew, that's disgusting, you nasty little bastard. Ugh. Cat just puked up a hairball. Nasty, slime the carpet like that. Ugh. You're nasty, cat. You're nasty. Oh, that's right there. Oh, it's nasty. Cat. All you can say is cat. But another place, if you guys want to get a good deal, I don't have an affiliate link or anything, so just go there. But check out Dell Refurbished. Dell has a refurbished section on the site where you can basically get relatively high-end machines for half price. I'm talking deals so good, I am seriously tempted to buy another one to resell. It's so insane. I got this this tablet. That's what I'm using right now. It's a tablet. It's like a tablet, but it's thin. It's a straight up tablet computer, but it's got a Core i7 processor. It's got a full HD screen, and it's USB 3 and USB-C, and it has 16 gigabytes of RAM. I believe it's 256 internal drive, which I'm probably going to replace with a terabyte drive. But it comes with Windows 10 Pro. Good, because that means you can disable Windows Update. But yeah, it's literally a full Core i7 16 gigabyte RAM PC with a 12.3 inch screen. And then I scored off eBay for like $30 a pop. I got the rugged case for it, and I got the magnetic keyboard for it. And so the whole thing folds up into a super compact, rugged tablet style configuration. And then you can either use it as a tablet or you can use it as a laptop. And $330. $330 for a Core i7 12-inch Full HD tablet computer with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gig hard drive. You can't beat that with a 10-foot stick. I mean, that's just such a good deal. They're selling these for $700 to $1,200 on eBay. That's why I was seriously considering, grabbing a second one. I just don't have the money. But I was thinking about grabbing a second one, grabbing another tablet case, grabbing another keyboard, and selling a full combo, $700-800. I stay away from iOS devices. I got a MacBook Air off of Marketplace once. The price was not too good to be true, but it was close. It was at the bottom end of reasonable price for the machine. So I did my due diligence. I searched the serial number, to see if it came up as stolen. Because a lot of times when somebody steals a high-end Mac device, the owner will post their serial number to Marketplace. So if you search for the serial number, hey, my computer's been stolen, and I'll know not to buy it. But it didn't come up. It came up clean. As soon as I get back to the store and turn it on, it locks down. As soon as I connect to Wi-Fi. And the whole machine just locks down. I'm like, fuck. Of course, I sent a message to Apple, and I was like, hey, I got this machine used. It locked itself down. Is this thing stolen, or did the old first person forget to turn off their cloud or something like that? And like 30 minutes later, the police are knocking on the door. Oh, that sucks. So I tend to shy away from iOS devices just because of that. They're so theft prone. And of course, if you buy something that's stolen, you have to give it back and you don't get your money back. Unless you're a pawn shop. Then you can actually say, no, you can't have it back unless you pay us what we paid. Isn't that nice? But, I avoid those for that reason. I'm assuming this is a stand. Yeah, I'm betting that's exactly what this is. Yeah, this is a spool holder. Look into these Chinese rugged phones, man. They're really impressive. Oh, okay. So this is a spool holder. There you go. So that's so you can hold 4 spools. Nice. And then this, I'm guessing, is the mounting hardware to mount that to a wall or desk or something like that. This looks like the plate that attaches to the wall. And that looks like a beauty ring. I don't know if Temu has them, but I tend to get better deals on AliExpress. Although some things are better on Temu, it depends. But here, I'll show you this phone. It just really impressed me considering how cheap it is. There it is. I'll show you the other one too. And sometimes you actually get better deals not on AliExpress, which is really weird. Like, for example, I got a set of these. Let's see, switch to that. Let me switch to this. I got a set of these Baofeng FRS radios. And I actually got a better deal on Amazon. About the same price, but with the batteries and everything. Better than AliExpress. Like, this one here is without the batteries. And It is $18.92 on Amazon. It's in my list on Amazon. But these are like one of the most ideal form factor for this type of stuff, because it uses USB-C, although it's dumb USB-C and does not correctly handle USB-C PD. So if you plug in your PD charger, it will not work. It will not charge. They could easily fix that by installing a resistor in the device that communicates with the charger. It says, I'm a 5-volt dumb device, but they didn't. So you have to use a dumb charger. But it is USB-C. You can get a dock for it, so you can use a dock charger. It has a rechargeable battery, a 1500 milliamp rechargeable battery, but you can also remove the rechargeable battery and put 3 AA's inside. So it is user serviceable and future proof. So it uses a standard USB-C connection. I got the orange ones, of course. Rechargeable battery, and if 10 years from now you can't get that rechargeable battery anymore, you can throw 3 AA's in there, so you can keep using the device. Very, very cool. Oh wow! Like AliExpress will give you a small credit, like you'll see where it'll say yeah, see here, $1 coupon for late delivery. But I've never seen them give you the whole order for free. Holy crap! This razor so far is working out wonderfully, but here is the Armor 21. So the only thing I don't like is this stupid RGB halo ring. It's like you got that instead of the flashlight, which I would prefer. But this is nice. It's got also it has an IR blaster, which is freaking awesome. So I can use it as a remote control. 64 megapixel Sony camera, 24 megapixel night vision camera, 6.5-inch screen, 120 hertz if you want that. I also love, one of the requirements was I wanted a dock. So this has the ability to connect to a dock, and I have the dock for it. This way you're not tearing apart your USB-C port every time you plug it in. The dock doesn't do any damage at all, which is awesome. But yeah, $199, and the Helio G99 processor actually works. It doesn't suck. It feels like a flagship phone, which is freaking awesome. But it has an actual night vision camera. Not what I wanted to do. You go here, then you go here. There you go. It has an actual, here's the dock, which I love. 9600 milliamp battery. It will charge at 30 watts, which is awesome. I haven't checked what kind of OTG charging I get, like how fast. Because with a 10,000 milliamp battery, I go 3 days between charges. Literally. Unless I'm using it really heavy, then it's 2 days between charges. So every other day I plug it in. And, but it's got the 3.5 watt speaker, which is a really big deal to me. That speaker is a big deal. I use that speaker so much, I don't want a phone that doesn't have it. Something else that I got, it was a gamble. I took a gamble buying it, and the gamble paid off. You can see the price is going up quite a bit now. I got it for $229 for their introductory offer. The Blackview Active 8 Pro. So it's a 10.4-inch Android 12, I think it is, tablet. It's got the Helio G99 processor, so it's fast. 22,000 milliamp hour battery. It actually has decent speakers. And it has a 48 megapixel camera. I have plenty of Android tablets. The reason I wanted this tablet is because, well, two reasons. One, 22,000 milliamp hour battery. Yeah, 22,000 milliamp hour battery. Whatever cell phone you have right now, take 5 of your batteries, and that's about what this is. But what I really wanted this for, and I gambled that it would work because people told me it would, and they were right. It does work. This takes a SIM card. Now, plenty of tablets have a SIM card slot. In the United States, to get data over the internet, there are 2 protocols you can use. You have cellular data and you have dial-up networking data, or DUN protocol. The name doesn't mean dial-up. It's a carryover from when it was actually dial-up, and they just kept the same name. The DUN protocol is what computers use. The cellular protocol is what your phone uses to get on the internet. Those protocols are separate, and all U.S. cell phone providers block DUN. So you can get cellular data, but you cannot get DUN data. And if you plug it into your laptop or your tablet, it's going to want DUN data. And that's how they're able to charge you extra for tethering or for hotspot, because that uses DUN. Basically, when you pay for tethering, they're unlocking DUN. You ever wonder how you can get unlimited data, but you only get 10 gigabytes of tethering data? How do they know? Well, that's because it's using a different protocol. Your unlimited data is cellular, while your 10 gigabytes or 5 gigabytes or 2 gigabytes of tethering data or hotspot data is DUN. Well, this device is a phone. Technically, in software, this device is a phone, not a tablet. Which means I can put my $15 a month unlimited data SIM card into this, and it works. So now when I'm sitting in the car and my sister is at an appointment for an hour and a half, I can pull out a 10.4-inch tablet instead of a 6-inch phone. That alone was worth it. It was worth it just for that. And it does work. So if you get this tablet and you have a cheap, prepaid unlimited data SIM card, you can put it in this tablet and it will work. That's amazing. I love that so much. When I get back on my feet and I'm making more money and I get a third account again, it's going in the tablet, so that I have an always-on data connection with the tablet. You can even make phone calls and stuff with it. Text messages, phone calls, all that stuff. Obviously, there's no speaker, so it's on speakerphone automatically. But, 22,000 milliamps, a flagship processor, a 10.4-inch screen, a rugged enclosure. It even comes with that strap on the back, which you actually need because it really is heavy. This is amazing. It's an amazing gadget. What are you doing? The $2 section is, I can't show that to you on there. I can't show it to you on here. The $2 section of AliExpress is still going good. They had a couple of neat things that I grabbed recently. I finally got some of the sanding pads in, and the sanding pads work great, so I'm definitely ordering more of those. I was kind of annoyed that the 300-piece shrink tubing set came in a plastic bag instead of a case, so I got the shrink tubing set. So you get them all, but they're not in a case. They're in a bag like this. So this is something where I will I'll dig out one of my existing heat shrink tubing kits like this, and what I'll do is I'll use this to refill this and keep it full. I was expecting it to come with a little case like this. I can also 3D print a case. Who's going to get bitten? Yes, it does. The Ulefone Armor Pro 21 has a USB-C port and a headphone jack port. 99% sure of that. I'll have to check that. I know this one does. Yes, this one has both. I'm pretty sure the Ulefone 21 also has both jacks. So, and it also has the IR blaster, which is really nice. Although the built-in app doesn't allow me to control other things, like, for example, my air conditioner. I have to use a different remote control app for that. But the fact that it's built into the phone is awesome. I don't know. Let's find out. I think it does. Hang on. Let's find out. The idea of connecting headphones to a tablet that big, I just never would bother, but, you know, let's find out. Let's see here. Oh, and it's also got Gorilla Glass. So it's got Gorilla Glass 5. Why can't I open this? Why are you pissing me off? It's not letting me open this picture to... Let me read the whole thing. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. IP68 and 69K. Nothing on that screen. I thought I saw a rubber port for headphones, but I'm not 100% sure of that. I'm trying to confirm that for you. Hang on. That's the same pictures. Okay, where's all the ports? Come on. There's the ports. That's not what I want. I can't tell. It might not have a headphone port. Trying to look for the picture with all the port covers. There it is. Yes, it does have a headphone port. So it does have a 3.5mm headphone jack, as well as the SIM card micro SD slot tray and the USB-C tray. So yes, it does have a dedicated headphone jack, which is good. Although I don't know if it has enough power to drive my good headphones or not. I think that would be asking a lot of it. As some Sennheisers. They're nice. Oh, I love those things. God, they're good. Put up the let's see, what are some of the new things that are on the $2 site? Oh, I know how to look at them. I can look at my previous orders. And that will show me. Here we go. Let me switch to this so you guys can see it. Let me switch to, come on. There, now I can see what you guys are saying. No, I can't. That won't work. I need to be able to... I need to be able to do this. There we go. So I got a set of these 28mm alligator clips. You get 20 pieces, so 10 and 10. because I want to work on making my own launch pad, so I need some alligator clips. This was a $5 item, but it's a pair of USB-C lavalier wireless mics, and then the USB-C transmitter receiver that goes in the phone. I have a single one here somewhere. It was $2.99, but I was like, for $5, grab it. I got a couple of different fingerless gloves to play with to see if any of them work well for me, because I have big hands. So these look pretty good. These look pretty good. These are the two that look decent, that were in my size. This is neat. This is an it's an OTG adapter. I didn't realize that, but it's a little USB-C male to female pass through that has the screen on it to tell you how much power is going through it, so you can tell if you're actually charging at 33 watts or not. A lot of the times you can figure out stuff isn't working correctly by having one of these. Like, I tried to charge my my Lenovo laptop with one of these, the little adapters that converts USB-C to 20 volts, so you can do a laptop charging with it. And it turns out that the Lenovo tablet simply can't handle charging at less than 60 watts. You need 60 watts to correctly charge, and that ended up being the problem. So that's a cool little gizmo. I definitely want to get a couple more of them. I grabbed a couple of hubs. So this is a 3-port USB hub with memory card slots. It's just SD and TF, but this would be great for my desktop because primarily I need a couple extra ports on the front, and I need those 2 memory card slots. That covers 90% of my needs, so that works out pretty good. Why are you doing this? Why would you do that? I don't get why you're not even registering as proper zooming. Oh, you freaking weirdo. Oh, now they're all like that. Go away. Pain in my ass. Here's another one. I've been wanting to try out one of these the accordion shades for your windows in the car. Sadly, you can only get the 46 centimeter one for $3.99. But if that works out well, that'll be a nice permanent way of being able to shade my window when I park. I don't know. Probably. Look for, stuff with lots of reviews and don't go for the absolute cheapest. But we'll check in just a second. This stream is just an update. I haven't been online in a while, so I showed off my 3D printed rockets and how well they worked, and including the ones that that exploded because the engine KO'd and melted the rocket in half. Literally, when I picked the rocket up off the ground, it was still in liquid phase, so it was going. Don't touch that. We opened up the package I got from DeWitt, and he sent me a Palette 2 Pro, so we're going to be playing with that. And now we're getting ready to end the stream soon, but I figured we'd show some of the cool things that I found on AliExpress that you guys might be able to get a good deal on. These medical scissors actually work good. I got my first pair in. I decided not to get any more until after I got one to make sure it was good. It was, so $2 you get a pair of those medical shears. These are pretty nice. I got both sets. The USB-C set and the USB-A set. So these are little adapters that convert from C to A and A to C. Some of these little micro hubs. I got the A one and I got the C one as well. So it's a little itty-bitty, super ultra-thin little 4-port hub, which is cool. This is nice. These have switches, so you can actually turn things on and off. My buddy, he paid someone a lot of money to extract his pictures from an old laptop, so I ordered one of these for him so that he can do it himself. Just pull the hard drive, plug it into this, and it becomes a USB thumb drive. Hard drive recovery, when the hard drive fails, not much you could do about that. But when the laptop fails, the hard drive is usually okay. I can't show you the actual $2 section because that only works on the phone. Although I can load it up on this phone and show you. And we can see what's currently available. The parachutes didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. They're not very heat resistant, so even a little bit of heat melts them. And the netting acts as a reefing, and my 3D printed rockets are a little too heavy for that. So it'll probably work fine on something like this, a 3D printed rocket this size. But as soon as you start going up in size, it becomes a little too heavy. And the netting acts as reefing and prevents the parachute from fully opening, which is not good. Because then it comes down faster than you want it to. And we don't want it coming down fast. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of trying that. But they have this special section that pops up on the phone.
I am Groot. I am Groot. I am
Oh wow. This phone hasn't been on in a while, so I fixed the screen on it. Because I changed the battery, broke the screen changing the battery, so I had to change the screen too. So now it's doing all of its notifications and crap. But anyway, when you first open the app, there's this section here that says $1.99. It's an app-only section, but you go there and everything's $1.99. You have to order a minimum of 3 items, maximum of 10 items in the U.S., different conditions elsewhere. But you can make multiple orders. See, I wanted these gloves with the protected fingers, but they're only available in medium for the $1.99, so they won't fit me. Let's see, anything else really, really good? The X-Acto blades are available again, so you can get the number 11 X-Acto blades, 100 of them for $2. You have to just scroll through. I can't link to it. There's no way for me to give you a link to it because it's an exclusive section. These are surprisingly good. These headphones are actually surprisingly good for $2. It's pretty hard to beat. Decent sound. I have to check. I haven't ordered them because I don't know if any of my cat fountains are compatible, but they have an 8-pack of cat fountain filters for $4. So that's 50 cents a filter. But I don't know if any of mine fit those, so I have to check. Metric tape measures, $2. Oh, I finally got socks. I got some socks in from Michelle, and they fit. They fit perfectly. So now she has like 200 pair of socks. Every other order, I grab a set of these. It's 10 pair of socks. They're little no-show ankle socks, which she prefers. And they're decent. They're stretchy. They're not constrictive. Yeah, $2 for 10 pair of socks. Yeah, she has about 200 pair of socks now. She'll never need socks again for the rest of her life. Oh my God, $20, and I got her a lifetime supply of socks. Oh, these are actually good. I got a pair in, and they actually are cowhide work gloves for $2. Hello, hell yes, and they fit. I wasn't sure. I thought they were going to be like real janky, real garbage. So I ordered one, and I waited for it to come in, hoping it would still be available for sale when after I got them, because sometimes these things are limited availability, so they might not last the 2 weeks it takes to get. But yeah, those if you need around the yard or the property work gloves, $2, they're legit. Hell yeah. These thumb drives, so far, every one that I've gotten has been legitimate. You know, they've actually held the amount of space they claimed. But, one problem. Slow! Oh my God, it's so slow. It's so abysmally slow. Oh my God, it takes forever to copy anything to it. These are great for sanding down if you do a lot of cosplay and you need to do sanding. These are wonderful foam-backed sanding pads, double-sided. So you get 60, 80, 100, 180, 240, and 320 grit, which is perfect. That's the range that I need. I wish I had a 400. A 400 would be nice, but you can't have everything. But $2 for 6 of them, hell yeah. Definitely ordered those. Reciprocating saw blades. There's a 10-pack of recip saw blades for $2. That's like jigsaws. Oh, this is nice. I ordered one of these. So this is it's a stainless steel metal strip with double-sided tape on it, and it's got a ruler measure on it. So what you use this for is, for example, putting in your jam box on your table saw or your setup. You can on your work table. So you put that in there so you can measure stuff. Well, I'm going to put it right here on my stainless steel table. So whenever I have to measure, a big item, I can just plop it right here and see exactly how big it is. For $2? Hell yeah. You can still get these. So these are USB-C to USB-C 100-watt compatible with a screen built in, so you can tell how much power is actually being drawn. They are wonderful. Those sell for $15 to $20 depending on the length on Amazon right now. If you go on Amazon and do a search for the Tachi 100-watt cables and look for the ones with the screen built in that shows you how much power is being drawn, they're like $14.97 to $19.97 on Amazon. $2. Hell yeah. And there's usually 3 or 4 of them available from different vendors, so you can usually get 3 or 4 per order. Windshield wiper blades. Let's see here. So just cheap windshield wiper blades, and then Jesus Christ, stop it! Go away! Shut the fuck up! Shut up, pest. Limited sizes. So you gotta see and make sure they have the size you need. But hey, $2 for wiper blades. Also, if you can still get them, Walmart has a wiper blade available. It's 22 inches. So if you need 22 inches, if yours is 23, 22 is fine. $2.97. Just be careful. Less than a $35 order, you gotta pay shipping. So usually I'll combine it with a grocery pickup order. And as long as the total order is $35 or more, you get free shipping. They're really nice because the blades are replaceable. So you can replace the silicone in the blade without having to replace the whole blade. That's not common anymore. Most blades, you can't replace the rubber. You can't replace the silicone wiper edge. These $3 cheapo blades from Walmart, you can. If you live in the Northeast, that's not going to help you because you're just going to rust out the arms long before they wear out. But here, the wiper arms don't fail. It's the rubber tears off, the silicone tears off. So having to replace a $10 blade just because the rubber failed sucks. So this one has replaceable blades, which is nice. So I can, every now and then I see wiper blade material length pop up on here. And you just cut it to whatever length you need, and then you can insert it into the arm. So that's nice. These masks are really handy. They're way more... If you live in a humid climate, these might not be so comfortable for you. But in a dry environment where I live, these are wonderful. You can also get the filters. $2, I got 20 filters to put on the bottom. But these are nice because they're full face. They cover your entire face. And that's really nice when working with a table saw or a jigsaw or a reciprocating saw, anything where you're spreading matter, sanding, anything where you're spraying crap all over the place, because it seals around your entire face and keeps that sawdust and debris and shrapnel from getting into your nose, your mouth, and your eyes. For me, the eyes is a big thing. And what I'll do is I'll take the air blower and I'll blow out my entire face before I take off the mask, so that the stuff doesn't fall into my face. but it works very, very well. But again, $2. Hell yeah. And these are the good ones. These are the one-piece units. This one guy I ordered from, he sent me one good one, and then he sent me 3 multi-part units where you had to kind of assemble it. They never hold together. They suck. You want the one-piece unit. Here is reciprocating saw blades. These are a little more expensive, but still, $4 for a 10-pack of reciprocating saw blades. Really hard to beat that. I can't give you an affiliate link for this. I wish I could. If you get a really good benefit, send me a tip or something. But there's no way for me to link to this, so I can't make an affiliate link for it. Watch out, these cowhide gloves are $4, but if you get the other ones, they're $2. Let's see, anything else really good? Here's some more jigsaw blades, $2. 5-piece oscillating tool blades. Not bad for $2. Ooh, are these lock nuts? Yes, they are. How many? How many do you get? That's not too horrible. I mean, it's not great, but it's not horrible. You can get black or silver, up to M6 25-piece. M8 and M10 are 5-piece, or M8 is 10-piece, and M10 and 12 are 5-piece. But M6 and down, you can get nylon lock nuts, stainless nylon lock nuts, $2 for 25 of them. I mean, that's pretty hard to beat. If you tend to use a lot of a particular size, then just order up that size. Chains, saw blades, measuring tools, different things, carbide CNC bit blades. I got this air gun. I was like, for $2, it'd be great with my little Ryobi air compressor. So a little blowgun to go with that. This is neat if you have a lot of old devices that you plug in. This is a short little way. You can get up to you can get 25, 50, and 100 centimeter, but it's a short little why do you keep doing this to me? Stop it. This is a USB-C to micro USB cable. So if you have a lot of older gadgets, that'll come in handy. Let's see. Oh, here we go. It's back. Nice. They raised it to $2.99, but now it's back down to the $1.99. This is that USB soldering iron. It's a simple, dinky little soldering iron, but it's damned effective, and it's $2, and it plugs into USB, which means you can run it off like a USB battery pack. Yeah, very nice. This is an okay deal. I got it when it was $1.99. Now it's $2.99, but a 30-pack of those lever lock wire connectors. Not bad. Even $2.99 is not bad, but I kind of got spoiled by the $1.99 price, so now I don't want to pay $2.99 for it. Here's 100 pieces of M2.9 10mm stainless steel screws. If you just happen to need something like that around the house, $2 you get a bag of 100 of them. Lever lock, lever lock. Oh, whoa, that's nice. Ooh. Sponge head sanding discs. Yeah, I want that. For Dremels. Hell yes, I want that. And this is an annoying part. Every now and then it reloads the page on you, so you have to start over again, scrolling through crap. So sometimes I'll just blast through a couple pages here just to. It changes the order each time it does that, but it's annoying when it does that. Anything else really good? I'll have to check out BlueStacks to try to see that. That would be nice to be able to load it. Here's circular saw blades for your Dremel. $2. They're sold out now, though. Anything else really good? Let's see. Oh, here's those barrel sanding drums for Dremel. So basically a lifetime supply. You get 100 of them or 120 of them. So it's basically a lifetime supply of them. For $2, you'll never have to buy them ever again. These are surprisingly nice. I just got one in, so I have to test it and see if it works at all. But these little square cameras should be very compatible for sticking on a rocket. The only question is, are they actually 1080p? If it's even 720p, I'm okay with that. This little helicopter, stay away from it. It's a single channel helicopter, so up and down only. That's it. Garbage. There's 3 different listings where you can get a 10-pack of socks, these little ankle socks. If you have big feet like I do, this is not going to work for you. But if you have size 10 or smaller feet, this should work for you, like size 9 or smaller. But you can get a 10-pack of socks for $2, and there's 3 different vendors. So for $6, you can get 60 pair of socks in one order. Really freaking nice. I saw these cases, these different grid cases, but then I realized I could just print whatever I need into my own custom specifications. Screen keeps coming off. I gotta heat up the adhesive to make it glue. E-tool for $4. If you wear baseball caps, that's the exact same thing they sell at Walmart for $11, but you can get it for $2 here. It's literally the exact same item. You look at the 2 pictures, it's the exact same item. When you order stuff like that, get 2 of them in case one breaks. Ooh, they have a lot more cases. Here's that 20-pack of alligator clips I got. Anything else really good? These probably would work okay for your kids. What's that? The little ride-on electric cars you get for kids. They've got big plastic wheels. But they have these LED lights, but they're plastic, not metal. They look like they're metal, but they're actually plastic. So $2 is probably about what they're worth. Here's 8 rolls of what looks like similar to Scotch tape for $2. I grabbed one. That wasn't a bad deal. But yeah, it's shocking how much of this stuff you can get. That's a really good deal. I got a couple of the silicone baking mats for cooking. So I grabbed a couple of them. I'm a weirdo. I like cooking. These bread knives are incredible. I got the big 14-inch one. You can cut any loaf of bread you want with that. $2 for a giant bread knife. That's awesome. Bread knives depend on serration for cutting and not sharpness. So you don't have to worry about the quality. It's a serrated knife. It's going to be fine. Ooh, they got more kitchen stuff. Ooh. Springform pan. How big? Come on, you got to tell us how big. $20 centimeter. Okay. So 20 centimeter springform pan for $2.99. Not bad. What's that equal to? 20 centimeters, 200. That's 8-inch. So it's an 8-inch springform pan. Not bad. I prefer 9 inches, but 8-inch spring pan, not bad. Double wire cake slicer for $2. Not bad. Coffee scoop, stainless steel. The silicone utensils, you can get them at the dollar store. This is a pretty good deal. It's actually an aluminum speed square for $2. It's fine. It works great. You can't beat that. This is good for poking around in your brain boards, ceramic and tweezers, so you don't have to worry about shorting things out. Again, $2. So yeah, browse through that. It's very addictive. Oh my god, the amount of shit I've gotten from them. Oh my god. Just bags and bags of shit that I've collected from them. Let's see, what do I got in here? This is kind of neat. I'll show you that in a second. Parachutes. Let's see, little light units. So 3D printed projects that you want to light up, you get these little light units. It's a little string of fairy lights, and it takes 2032 batteries. And I found out you can get rechargeable 2032 batteries, which is awesome. $2 for a 3-meter USB extension cable. Hello, yes, all day long. I'll take that. More parachutes. I thought this might be interesting. These are light up earrings. But I thought that'd be interesting on the nose cone of a little tiny model rocket, so you can have a little tiny light on for night flying tiny rockets. This is supposed to be some sort of a smartwatch. I was like, let's see what I get for $2. It's probably going to be garbage, but let's see what I get for $2. A decent roll of solder. I think it's 6040 rosin flux solder, so a decent little roll for $2. This is a EL wire. So for your larger rockets or your larger projects, you can get some EL wire. There's just a regular wristwatch. But it's one of the ones with the big screens, which I like. See what else we got in here. Hey, got Michelle's mouse. I didn't think I got it yet. Oh, that's an even bigger roll of solder. There's 2 rolls of solder. This is adorable. You're going to love this. It's so cute. Another 3-meter USB extension. Another 3-meter USB extension. Tweezer set. I'll show you that in a second. I'll show you this in a second. You'll like that too. Here's a higher power. It's a 3-amp micro USB cable, which is not that common. Okay, so this is cool. These are great. I print out my own handles, and then I use these. Basically, I just need the 6 and the 7 millimeter for nozzles on the printer. So for $2, you get this, and then you have your 6 and your 7 millimeter for your nozzle changing. But you just take that and you print out a little handle off Thingiverse. You hammer that into it, and there you go. You have a nozzle change wrench right there for $2. Or $1 because you get 2 of them. When you get 9 of them, but we don't use these sizes too much. Here's a nice little tweezer set. Different types, angles, and lengths. Tweezers. So a nice little professional tweezer set for, again, $2. This is the most adorable thing in the world. It's so freaking cute. It's a vise. It's a bench vise, but it's tiny. It's an itty-bitty little vise. Look how small it is. It's so tiny. So this is how it bolts to your table, or whatever work surface you have. All right, and then this is your little vise. How freaking adorable is that? It's got a little locking ring here to keep it from popping out. But is that freaking adorable or what? It's such a tiny little vise. $2. It's metal. I was like, that's just so cute. This is neat. It's a little handle for X-Acto blades, but it comes with all of these weird style blades. So these are real handy for getting into tight spaces, shaving away parts of the print that don't belong there, support structures, stuff like that. It comes with straight edges, hook edges. It comes with all these different style of blades in the little container here. For cleaning up little 3D prints, that's nice. And then my sister's touchpad is getting hinky, so I got her a pink cordless mouse for $2. So it's a little cordless mouse. Comes with a nano receiver, built-in rechargeable battery. Is it C or micro? It's micro. That's annoying. So it is a micro USB connection, but it comes with the wire. And does that go like that, or does it go like this? It goes like this. So you can use it while you're charging because the port's on the front. And so it's just like a regular mouse tail at that point. But yeah, it's a little cordless pink mouse for her laptop for $2. Hard to beat that for $2. But yeah, you can get all this kinds of grab. You saw the shrink tubing set, $1.99. It's kind of ridiculous. You can also get stuff like this. Like, here's another one. Are you going to mess with me? Do I have to tear you? So here is that EL wire that has channels. So you see the end is an EL wire, but it has this tongue that runs the whole length, and you can use that to shove it into the gap in your car's dash trim, so you can light up the interior of your car and make it look really professional. But I wanted it because I can 3D model track on my rockets that will fit that little tongue, and then you could very easily, this is more for high power rockets because you're going to have to put a USB battery inside there. But I actually never lit one of these up. Do I have a battery pack handy? Yeah, I got one right here. No, that's dead. I gotta charge that. I do not have a battery pack handy. They're all out in the car because I took them all with me when I went to Naram. But yeah, just USB. Here's your transformer because it is EL, so it's high voltage. So there's your little transformer, your inductor set, and it just plugs in. But now I can design track in the model rocket in the 3D printed files to whatever design I want. Lines, straight, curls, spirals, whatever. I can just design the tracks into the 3D printed file, and then these will just push right into the track so that you can do some really nice light up displays. Again, this is $1.99. It's like 3 meters of EL wire for $1.99. You can't beat that with a 10-foot stick. I mean, that's just amazing. And of course, you get like cheap razors. Like this was $1.99. I do not advise this particular one. It hurts. This is painful. It's USB-C and everything. Maybe I just got a bogus one. Maybe I need to break it in with some oil. But this one pulls hairs. It hurts. The other one I got was like $6. It wasn't $1.99, but it works quite well. And this is super itty bitty. It looks like a wall clipper, but they microsized it. So this works really well. I used it this morning. I actually just grabbed another one. It was $1.99, so it was in the cheap list. But it has USB charging and a replaceable lithium battery. That's unusual, so I wanted to get that to play with it. You don't usually see replaceable batteries. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous what you can get. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Endoscope. So this is a USB endoscope. So it's got the little, you shove that down your kitchen sink or your toilet or whatever, or inside your 3D printer or your car's engine. And it's got a little camera on the end. You plug it into your phone, and it just shows up on your phone screen. You got a nice long cable there. It's USB-C. Yes. No, actually it's micro, but it comes with a USB-C adapter. I wish it was USB-C and it came with a micro adapter. But it also comes with a full-size USB adapter, so I believe you can plug it into your Windows computer as well. So you can have an endoscope for $2. It's like, hello? What? $2? It's crazy how cheap it is. It's really ridiculous. So if you want to get, if you want to go down the deep dive rabbit hole of cheap shit from China, a lot of which is actually halfway decent, go for it. Yeah, when you come up to breathe in a few hours, let me know what you found. It's really crazy what's available there. Oh, here, 38-watt USB-C charger, $2. Be very careful with these. A lot of them are Euro, meaning the UK 2-pin plug, the Euro 2K plug. You got to make sure you can actually get the US plug. Not many of them are US, but this one was. So 18-watt QC and a 38-watt PD charger for $2. Pretty hard to beat. I keep hoping more 3D printed stuff will come up, but you see $10 for a roll of filament, and then it's either $12 shipping, so it's a $22 roll, the same as you get on Amazon, or it's a sampler for the $10. And so I haven't found too much as far as filament on AliExpress. At least that's a good deal. But yeah, it's crazy what you can find. All right, I will see you guys later. I will see you next week. Hopefully, I'm going to work on cleaning this up a bit. I got an A3 scanner coming in. Mine died. Hey, I had that thing for 12 years. And it held up. But I got a new A3 scanner coming in so I can scan some documents and shit. So we'll play with that too. But I want to get this palette Pro going, hopefully in the next week or two, and start playing with that. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun. Well, I guess we can see what this is real quick. It's supposed to be a smartwatch for $2. I'm kind of dreading what I'm going to see when I open this. Oh, this looks like crap. Yeah, this looks like crap. Okay, so this is the kind that the arm is actually a USB plug. So you plug that into your USB port to charge it. Does it have any power? No, it doesn't appear to have power. Is this puffed up? This might be puffed up. No, that might be the shape. That might just be the shape. And then you take these arms and you pop them on. This is probably going to be total garbage. But I just had to see what I would get for $2. So, actually, I don't even think that's what was in the picture. I think they lied and had something else in the picture and sent this. Sometimes they do that. Yeah. Usually I'm careful and you can spot the ones that are going to be... like when you see 256 gigabyte drive for $2, it's like... That's probably fake. Could be real, but it's probably fake. But when you're ordering stuff like this, it's pretty hard for them to screw that up. So we'll get this plugged into Michelle's laptop so she can have a normal mouse and go from there. All right, I will see you guys later. I'm hopefully going to go to... I think I'm going to go to that rocket launch this Saturday. I got to see how much gas I have. I got to be careful of how much gas I use. But it should be a highway run. So I should be able to get 30 miles to the gallon. So it's going to take like 4 gallons of gas to get there and back. So the question is it worth $16 to go to a launch? I think so. I've got the motors. I looked them up. These motors are not prone to cadoing. That was just bad luck. A fluke. The other two that I flew fine. So, I really want to get some more of these 3D printed rockets in the air. I want to fly them. I have another Lodestar. I have one in blue, so I can fly that one. I want to redo the SDI Satellite Killer because that's just a freaking awesome model. I love that model. See how well it flies on a D20. The only problem I have is the delay is supposed to be 4 seconds, and it's more like 6 seconds. It's like, I want 4, not 6. It's a good way on its way back down by the time 6 pops. But that's it. We will play with it. I will see you guys next week.